Welcome everyone, especially with the first podcast dedicated to the woman. Then welcome to the Puncheuses. And today I have two special guests, two really wonder women from triathlon, Nina and Julie Derron. Welcome, I'm really glad to have you both today, the sisters, the crazy sisters, really famous. Nina, she was this year second to the Ironman 70.3 to Shanghai, third to Ironman New Zealand. Julie, Olympic silver medal, only that. 300 triathlon world tour victory in San Francisco, and also Ironman, the full Ironman in Vitoria-Gasteiz. Maybe you can tell that. Is that the good name, Vitoria-Gasteiz?
I think so, yeah. It's in Spain. I don't speak Spanish, but I think it's correct.
Then crazy results. Then we're going to start with the first question. I say thank you to be there. Then what was the first memory between sisters in the triathlon, the first race maybe, when all start? I'll let you tell me all your life. I'm really, I would like to know. Tell me how it started.
First of all, thanks for having us. It's really nice to be here also with Nina. First memory in triathlon together, I think it's probably something that our parents told us. We were really little when we did the first triathlon. Nina, I think she was maybe 6 years old. So she was the older one, and I watched her do the triathlon, and I said, I want to do this as well. So a few years later, I would do the same triathlon that Nina did. And so I think that's probably one of the first.
In Switzerland?
In Switzerland, in Zurich,
sure.
yeah.
I think, the memories from told stories. I don't remember myself perfectly, but I think it was a kids triathlon as part of the Ironman Switzerland, and we swam, with the swimming aids, just 50 meters, and then we hopped on the bike with the training wheels, did a lap around there, and then just run. And I think it was really a family business. My parents thought it was something nice for us to do on a Sunday.
And they do?
Sunday.
Your parents, they also do the triathlon? Maybe this is why.
It's always a question who started first, you know, my mother, my dad, us. But in the end, I think we all started more or less together, yeah.
Okay, is it famous in Switzerland for the child? Because here in France or Belgium, you don't have that many competition for the children.
Yeah, I think we were lucky in a way that we grew up in Zurich, and they had this Ironman Switzerland in Zurich every year, maybe like 10 minutes from where we were living. So we got in contact with the sport really early on. So we knew about what triathlon was. So probably I was also a bit lucky that we were so close to where there was a triathlon. In general, we have some really great athletes in Switzerland that some of them are still active, some of them aren't anymore, but like this we had always a role model, especially Nina and I as female role models. We had Nicola and we had Daniela to chase, and they made the sport quite popular in Switzerland.
Okay, and when did you realize that it's going to be finally your job full time? Because when you sport like a child, it's something. Many child has a sport like that after school, but they know they're going to study something and after. But when did you decide to just, you study also? What's your study actually? It's something huge, huh?
Yeah, I did some studies. I finished them 2 years ago. I did my master's degree in food technology, food process technology it is. And so to really only do triathlon as a job, it only started 2 years ago for me, and or maybe 2.5 years now. But I don't think I ever actually made the decision, this is my job now. It gradually increased, it gradually progressed, I got better and better, and then at one point I arrived where I am now, and it's become my job. So I never pursued triathlon for it to become my job, but it was always a passion, and like this it developed into, now making a living out of the sport.
And you, Nina, it's the same?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I added, after my master's degree, a PhD, so I only started at the beginning of this year to full-time focus on the sport and make it my official job, so to speak, so quite late. But yeah, I think also for me or for both of us, it was just something we continued to do. We really enjoyed, and we just became better at it. And then we started racing the elites and so on. So it just kept going. So at some point, we realized, Julie, a bit earlier with the goal of the Olympic Games, that we want to make it our full profession. And yeah, I think it's just our way how we did it. It's different than other people's way. And I think especially in Switzerland, the education is super important. The sport is also important, but people always ask you, what else are you doing, kind of. So to actually, really make it our profession, it's also something I'm proud of, and I want to show other people that it's possible and that you have to believe in this dream of going a bit against the stream of people just telling you what you should do, kind of. So yeah.
And you have different programs for sure, but do you have the opportunity to train together?
Yeah,
quite
definitely.
a lot. Yeah, I would say.
We are both in the same training squad. We have the same coach, so a lot of the times we would do a similar program. We would be on the track at the same time running, but our session would be different. So maybe I do 300 meters reps and Nina does 800 meters, but we are there at the same time. So I think that's something that's really helpful, especially in times when we maybe are not at training camp, but we are both in Zurich, where we spend some time, and
where it's actually our home.
which is actually our home. So we can also do the training together there, even if it's not exactly the same session. Yeah.
And the other question was also, do you find time to do something else? Because that's crazy when you you need to find time to swim, to run, and to cycling. Yeah. Do you have extra time to spend with your family? And
we try to make time, especially now that it's around the holidays. So we really also try to find the time, make the time to spend time together. And then because we also know that after the holidays, we will be away for 3 months again and not see our family. So, it's a balancing act, but you always find a way to make time for what is important for you.
Perfect. Now I would like to know, in this three sport for you, is it one more difficult? You have to work more on one discipline? And after I have the same question for you, of course.
Same as with the time before, it's also a balance. For that, I have a coach that really knows my strengths, my weaknesses, also what we are working towards. So it always sometimes you have to work more on one sport, and then there's the focus on maybe the swim at one point, because especially, for example, for me, before the Olympic Games, I knew that the swim was going to be very crucial to make the front pack or not. And then with the added challenge of swimming in the Seine, that some different skills were required there as well. So at the beginning of 2024, we really put a big block into the swimming and put a big focus there. And maybe then only later in the year, we would put a focus more on the running part. I think it's difficult to improve everywhere, but I think that's also the challenge and what makes triathlon so exciting, because you always have something to improve on. You will never be the best at all the three disciplines.
Yes.
So that's also what's exciting, and you can always improve. And I think that's also maybe a little bit addictive, that you can never stop because you always want to get better. But it's what I find really intriguing about the sport.
I changed my question. Do you have a favorite? Because maybe it's easier to answer.
Yeah. No, I don't think I have a favorite discipline. That's why I chose triathlon. So no, I don't have a favorite.
And you?
No, I would say it changes all the time. Sometimes it's in training really fun when in one of the disciplines you can make a lot of progress, and maybe you like that one, or I like that one the most then. Mm-hmm. But to just pick one for, that I like the most for all the time, I couldn't pick one. I like all of them, and I like different aspects. For example, with the bike, you can really discover a lot of new places, go a lot further than when you're running. Or for example, the swimming is so technical, and it's so difficult to get the feeling in the swim, but when you can get it, it's really fun. So yeah, there's different things I like about each of the disciplines, and I think for us it's different to some other athletes because we started triathlon when we were 6 years old, so we were not coming from swimming or running or cycling. So it's always been the 3 disciplines that we try to improve. And I mean, for a long time I wished I was a swimmer earlier because it's just such a hard sport to learn and improve. But I think it's actually quite nice that we have this triathlon skill from a young age, and yeah, there's still so much we can improve in all the disciplines. Yeah.
Perfect. You nearly answered the question before, but the fact you are sister help you, then you train together, that's also something to help.
Yeah.
But during your career, just to be 2, you feel you stronger than someone else?
Yeah, for sure. I think for both of us, I don't think, or I at least don't think I would be where I am now without my sister Julie.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Because it's just so important and just really helpful to have someone to share everything with, to help each other, and also, you know, to celebrate the highs together, but also have someone that really understands how much work goes into it,
definitely.
and when you have a bad moment or a bad race, or something is not okay, you have someone that really understands why and can give you some good words and help advising. And of course it's also nice to share the training together. It's a bit different when we're racing the same race. We're competitors as well. But I think that's
important too.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we, like now that I think when we were younger, like teenagers, maybe it was a bit more difficult, you know, to race against each other. But now we are both like, we know how much work goes into it, and the best woman wins on the course. So it's not difficult for us to race also in the same race.
Perfect. Now it's a question a bit more difficult, but is there one time in your career you want to stop all because it was too much? Do you have this situation one time on your career? And after the same question for you.
No, I don't think I ever got to the point where I wanted to stop triathlon, because I've been doing it my whole life. It's part of who I am and I really, really love it. But of course, there have been times where it's been a bit more difficult. Maybe I had some injuries, and then it's like, why does this happen? Can I just not have a smooth path? But there's never been a point where I didn't want to do it, which I think it's nice.
I really didn't want to stop, but I thought I had to stop because of an injury. I was just going in the last years of my juniors, going to the elites, and I had a back injury, and no one could really tell me what it was or why I had pain. And for almost 3 years I had like chronic back pain, and I tried everything, but it didn't improve. And some doctors also told me, oh, you have to stop completely. So it was really a very difficult time in my life, and I actually stopped triathlon for a while. And I just started for fun back. It pulled me back into triathlon just for fun. After 3 years, I started training a little bit, and I set myself a goal of racing a half Ironman just as an age grouper. And straight away I loved it, and was able to overcome this back injury and started training more. And it's almost like a second part of my triathlon career started.
Finally, now I'm curious, but what was the problem on your back?
We still don't know. Yeah. Now I'm okay to not know. I'm just really happy.
Because you don't have pain no more. I don't want to.
Exactly.
Makes me crazy 3 years, but now it's okay. Okay. Yeah. And now we are between women here, and I know triathlon, it's nearly the same level for men and women. You feel it definitely, the woman has a real place on this sport, because it's not the same in every sport, unfortunately. But do you feel the same, any difference between the men and the women? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's something that triathlon can be really proud of, that women and men are pretty much equal in most aspects. Of course, there's sometimes differences more men are on the start line than women in some races, but for example, the prize money is the same.
For the T100, I'm sure. For the other one also? More or less?
Most races. I like Ironman, I know, also World Series, I know that the prize money is the same. And from what I have experienced as well in the federation and also outside the support I was given, of course I don't know exactly how much a man would get, but I've been feeling that it's quite equal. Especially this year, I think the T100 series that I raced, it was more exciting for the women. So I think that's where we were also pushing to get more attention towards the women. But I think in terms of age group athletes, there's still a lot more men competing than women. So I think it's also really great if Nina and I and other athletes, female athletes, can show that triathlon is a great sport for women, that it's not too hard for women, which some people might think, and to hopefully get more women into the sport like this as well.
The thing is the same.
I feel also quite lucky that we ended up in this sport where it's actually already when we were young, it was quite equal for a long time already. So yeah, it's not the same for all sports. So I feel quite lucky that we are in triathlon, and I still think there's some way to go for the women. Sometimes there's more media exposure on the men, or more just there's still little differences that you can't see in the first step. So I think it's really important that we and others help to really push the women in our sport, and that we can be role models, like Julie said, for the other females to enter the sport and to try it, and not be too intimidated also by all the men doing it, because like the professionals show that the gap between the men and the women, the longer the distance is, it gets closer and closer.
Exactly.
So I think it's quite interesting.
Then girls, you listen the message. Everybody on the triathlon.
That's the
Wake
goal.
up, move your body. Perfect. Nina, is there a race on your career which would change your career? Who would change your life, in fact? When it can be when you were little and you are your first podium, for example, or something else. Do you have an history to tell us? A really important race in your career, in your life?
I think there's a few that helped me make the next step.
You can say 3 if you want.
3, okay. So the first one I already told you. I think it was important for me to even come back this first half Ironman and to realize I really love it. I love the long distances. I love that you have to, on the bike, work yourself. For example, before I did short course racing, so it was quite different. So I think this one was really important. And then I would say my first Ironman World Championship qualification was important, that I could really, realize that I belong in the professional field and that I can qualify. And then also to go to Kona that was already back in 2019, so quite a while ago, but that was important, I would say. And maybe the third one, there's a few races this year, but I was able to make some important podiums this year, which showed me that I'm on the right track, going full-time, quitting my job. So all the races this year were quite important for me. Yeah.
And quitting your job, what was your job, if it's not?
So I did my PhD at the University Hospital in Zurich. I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm in the research in the medical field. And after I finished my PhD, I stayed on in research as a researcher.
And the goal is to go there after your career, to go back there?
Yeah, I don't know yet exactly, but I'm sure I will be doing something in the medical field. Yeah.
And now I have a question for you about your second place to the T100. It's special because we are also partner of the T100. It's a special race for us. What was also your feeling about this place, especially? I know after you have also the Olympic medal, but what about the T100?
Yeah, this year I committed to do the T100 series, and I already started doing it last year and I really enjoyed it, and I saw that I had also some good results there. So this year I was really happy to be part of the whole series, and the first race didn't quite go as I wanted to, and then I won the next race in San Francisco, and that was so exciting, you know, just to have a really good race, to win one of those big races. That last year I came second 3 times. I was like, oh, it's just like so close, but not quite. And then to win one of the races, it was amazing. And I finished this year second overall, which is really good. Immediately after the last race, that was only last week, where I came third on the day and finished second overall. I was a little bit disappointed because I didn't have my best day on the race day, and I just felt like the race wasn't perfect. And so coming into the finish line, you always want to have like the best day, and I didn't have the best day. So in the first moment, I was like, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done that better. But then already after 2 or 3 hours, I'm like, but wow, what a year, you know, to finish second overall, it's vice world champion. It's the closest I have ever been to a world championship title, which is just giving me a little bit of fire for the next year. And I really enjoyed the whole series, and it's been fun.
Thank you, great. A question nothing to do with triathlon, but what do you like to do when you don't cycling? I know you have
it's
space.
A difficult question.
Yeah, but do you like to go to the cinema? I don't know. Do you have a passion or hobbies? Something totally different? Can be shopping. I don't know. Tell me. We just want to know more about you.
Yeah, of course. What we both really like to do is to go for a coffee, especially in new places, discover new coffee places, have a nice coffee latte most of the time for the coffee lovers. It's not espresso or
regular milk.
Regular milk is fine. And usually I like to read a book in the coffee shop, just something really different, and not so, you know, the training is really hard and exhausting, so it's nice to have some chill time. And then, what else? I think if I have to pick like a different sport, I would like to do is in the winter when we have some different training is cross-country skiing. I really enjoy that. So
good. But it's also in Switzerland. You have a lot of
we can do
it's
it.
also good training, but it's something different, and I really enjoy it.
And you have to be careful also for the blessure.
I think it's better than, you know, alpine skiing. I think that's a lot more dangerous. So the cross-country,
it's okay.
It's pretty flat, so you can you're not as there's not as many injuries or injury risk.
Okay, how did you find your balance between your private life and your sport?
I think triathlon is a sport that can take over your whole life, so you have to also actively find a balance, do things outside of the sport. As Nina just said, sometimes we like to go for a coffee shop, especially somewhere new, find our favorite coffee shop, or meet friends when we are at home and just talk about something totally different than the sport. So it's a process. You always have to find out, you have to also think about what you like to do outside of the sport, because it's so easy to just be very, very focused. So it helps to have people around you that also are outside of the sport, I guess. Yeah.
And did you follow really a special diet all the time, or sometimes you are relaxed and you like to be, I don't know, a bit, you like to have chocolate?
We love chocolate. Definitely.
Swiss chocolate.
I don't follow a strict diet plan. Of course, making sure I eat a balanced diet, I get all my nutrients that I need, but not super strict. I think, of course, the weight is important in triathlon, in sport, but for me, I found a way to still be sort of relaxed, also have some cake, some chocolate sometimes, but just make sure that the overall diet is really is well balanced. And also, we train so much, so we also need to make sure that we fuel enough. Yeah.
And after your career, if we go in 10 years, maybe you would like to stay in the triathlon, maybe to be trainer or something else. Do you have a goal for after? Maybe to teach, I don't know, there can be many things, commentators on the television. You would like to stay inside, or you would like to do something, you have another dream for after, maybe you want to be a country ski professional? I don't know. Do you have a dream for after your career?
To be honest, I don't know yet.
No, you see
there's
day
no
after day.
specific dream, but I mean, I've been doing this sport since I was 6 years old, so it's a long time. So I cannot imagine my life without any triathlon. So there's so many opportunities that we just now see. So I would love to, give my knowledge about the sport in the future to other people, but I don't know in which way. I never really thought about being a coach, but maybe there's some opportunity in another way. So, to be honest, I don't know yet, but I hope there will be something with
to do with your favorite sport. Yeah, you really speak with your heart. Sometimes I have guessed, and I don't know. When I was 14, I received a bike, and then I decided. But when we talk with you two, it's something. When you born, you dream a bicycle, swimming. It's something really made for you. It's nice to hear it. Now to finish, if you have if you want to say something to the young triathlete, what's your, I find my words, tips, I say in Flemish.
Advice. Yeah.
Advice, yes. If you have an advice to say to someone who starts, what would you like to say, Nina? Or you, the two, I would like to...
I would say be brave and keep going.
Follow your dream and you.
Yeah. I would also say something along those lines. Find what you're passionate about, commit to it, and never give up.
And also the women are really strong.
Yeah, we are really strong.
Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure for this first Puncher podcast. And I wish you a wonderful season for 2026. And see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure.
Yeah.